Alright, hello and welcome to something a little different. We're doing a little bit of a shorter video today because at the start of the season I predicted where all the 92 clubs in the English Football League pyramid would finish. Now, I'm thinking as League One was the one to finish first out of all the four leagues, as the Prem still hasn't finished anyway, but the League One was the first to be completed out of all of the EFL leagues. I'm going to be starting with the League One predictions today, basing them off where they finished in real life and, of course, where they finished or where I predicted them to finish. It's going to be a bit of a shit show, probably, because just for clarification, I'm just going to get this clear straight out of the gate. League One is the one league where I have the probably least amount of knowledge where it comes to teams and where it comes to situations. So if there's any absolute shockers, which I know there's one out the gate, and we'll get to that as we go down the line. We will get to that, of course, as well over the next coming days. I will finish off with the rest of the leagues, and then I will manage to, well, I won't manage, obviously I manage, but I will predict the playoffs as well before they begin, which I think they begin soon, so we'll get that done as well, and those videos up. I'm going to predict all the League 1, Championship, and League 2 playoffs all in one video, so it's all in one place for you, and then we can get on with that. So I'm going to read out the teams in alphabetical order. I feel like that's the best way to do this, and hopefully it's not an absolute shit show, but we will see. We shall see, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just get the stuff up here. Right, so we're kicking off first of all with Accrington Stanley. Who are they? Well, they're not a League One team anymore because they finished in real life in 23rd. And at the start of the season, I remember thinking, are Accrington going to be as good as they were the previous season, or are they going down? And it turns out that I was wrong, and well, I was half right, I guess, because I thought maybe they're going to go down, and they in fact have gone down. But ultimately, in my predictions at the start of the season, I predicted them to finish 13th. I thought they'd just coast towards a mid-table ultimately, and like I said, with my limited knowledge of League One, there's going to be a lot of cock-ups here, and Accrington have gone down. It took to the final day, to be fair. I'll give them that. It took to the final day for them to be officially relegated, but they were relegated and they will play League Two football next season. So, yeah, that's not a correct one by any means. I think it was 10 places off for that one. Of course, in this, I will update the spreadsheet to reflect the final standings of the season as well. So there'll be a spreadsheet in the description, and I will leave a link to the previous video as well where I predicted all this, so you can see how badly it went. Now up next is Barnsley. Now I put Barnsley in third, and they finished fourth. So I'm taking that. I'm taking that as an absolute dub, or at least very close to a dub. I'm getting Sheffield Wednesday. Sorry, Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday will come later. Barnsley. I'm reading the wrong team here. Barnsley. One place off is absolutely fine because I said they were going to get to playoffs. They've got to playoffs. They might win playoffs, but I'm going to predict those on another video. But Barnsley have got into the top six. At first, it didn't look like they were maybe going to get up there, but they've managed to sort it out, and they've managed to scrap for a spot in the playoffs, and they, I believe, will face Bolton, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken. Face Bolton in the playoff semi-finals to see if they will face either Sheffield Wednesday or Peterborough in the Wembley finals. Of course, we'll take a look at those teams as we continue. Following that was Bolton. Speaking of the Devils, Bolton I did not predict in the playoffs. I'm going to be honest, I thought they were just going to fall outside of the playoffs. I didn't think they'd have enough to continue all the way to the end of the season and get into those playoff spots this season. I think I said in this season or next season they might get there, I think, or something along those lines. I knew Bolton were going to be up there in and about the race, but I have predicted them ninth. They have finished fifth, so it's a 4-place gap, and unfortunately that is another incorrect one for me. But fair play to Bolton. Out of all the teams, I think, in the playoffs, I would love to see them go up the most. But we will see in the coming days. And I think that's probably who I'm going to predict, but we'll get to that video later. A bit of a spoiler there for you. Up next is Bristol Rovers. I'm going to be honest, I thought these guys were going to bounce straight back down into League Two. I thought because they won the playoffs just about, it was very lucky how they won the playoffs. They needed 7 goals to win the playoffs, and they won 7-0. I thought it was a very lucky situation that they got to League One in the first place. I thought they're going to just fall straight back down and go back down to League Two without much of a fanfare. I was proven wrong. They finished 17th, and they finished, I think it was 8 points clear of the drop. So I apologise, Bristol Rovers fans. I did think you were going to go down, but you have surprised me, and you've surprised everyone. Maybe I don't know how many other people predicted Bristol Rovers to go down. Maybe I'm the only one, but it is survival for Bristol Rovers this season, and fair play to them. They've done it well. I put them as 22nd, so it's a 5-place gap. As you can tell, League One knowledge does not exist in this stream. So I apologise if I've got any of these horrifically wrong as we continue to BURTON Albion. I think I put these in the drop, didn't I? No, I didn't. I've put them to finish 17th. They finished 15th, which ain't too bad. I'll take that. If they're like 1 or 2 out, I'll take that as a result. If they're any further than that, then maybe it's a bit shit, unless it's based on points, like a point difference in between like 4 places, and I'll let myself off there a little bit. But Burton finished in 15th. I knew it was just going to be another, no pun intended, but run-of-the-mill season for the, this isn't the Millers, is it? Never mind. Another run-of-the-mill season anyway for Burton. They finished 15th. I was 2 places off, like I said, and I didn't think they were going to really shock anyone this year, but I didn't think they were going to go down. That's kind of where I predicted them. It was just a couple of places of the exact prediction off. But fair play to Burton. They stay up for another season in League One. Probably a similar story unless you invest well in the transfer market in the summer. I'm going to be paying a lot more attention to transfers to have more educated League One predictions next year rather than just throwing teams here, there and everywhere. Up next is Cambridge. I thought they were going to survive, and I thought they were just going to do it. I've put them in 18th, and I was right to think they were going to survive and just going to do it. I didn't think it would take them till the final day of the season to do it, but they have done it. They've remained in League One on the final day. I think it was a 2-1 win or a 3-1 win, but again, I don't really pay attention to League One, but they did stay up, so fair play to Cambridge. I was initially toying with putting them down in the drop and putting them back down to League 2, but they have survived by the skin of their teeth by a point, and if it had come out a goal difference, they would have gone down. So fair play to them getting the 3 points on the last day and saving their skins in League One for another season. I think it's their first season back up, isn't it, if I remember correctly? But fair play to them for making it anyway. Up next is Charlton, and a team that I had a bit of a difficulty trying to place, because I feel like Charlton are one of those teams who, obviously they're back in the Premier League a while back, and then they were in the Championship for a long while. They're now in League One, and I feel like they're one of those teams that should be bouncing their way back up to the Championship sooner than they have, and they haven't yet, and they won't again this season. I predicted them to finish 12th. They have in fact finished 10th, which ain't too bad. 2 places off, not too shabby from me, and I'll take that honestly as a prediction. I thought mid-table. I was hoping they'd make a playoff push, but I didn't have enough confidence in myself to make that prediction come to fruition. So they're 2 places off once again, with them finishing 10th and me putting 12th. I don't think I've got a single one right exactly on the button, but it's not easy to predict, so I'll allow myself, unless it's absolutely stupid, which I know one is, and we'll see that down the line. But Charlton Athletic, another season in League One, just coasting through. Hopefully they can make a push to the Championship, because they should be there. They're one of the teams that I feel should be in that league, and maybe they will be next year. Cheltenham Town. Now, where did I put them? Oh, you gotta be. I was 1 place off. I put them as 15th, and Cheltenham have finished 16th. It's a unlucky twist of fate there to not get that, and they were only 2 points off taking that 15th place spot off Burton. So if Cheltenham had won and Burton had lost, then I would have been right, but of course that didn't come to pass, and I was off by a place. But Cheltenham Town, another team that seemed to have found their level, or found their niche in League One anyway, seemed to be just coasting, just relaxing in League One. No real threat of relegation, but also no real prospects who go out to playoffs this season. Maybe that'll change in the coming seasons, but this season it hasn't turned out like that. So Cheltenham Town, fair play to them. Another season will remain in League One, and I was 1 place off. I'm slightly annoyed about that, but what can you do? Up next then, Derby County. Okay, guys, I can explain. I can absolutely explain this one. Now, it's not awful, but when you look at the points and when you look at some of the results, it's not fantastic. I put Derby to win League One. I thought they were going to win League One and go straight back up. I know there was a bit of a difficulty in the Championship the previous year, coming down with points, deducted, and they still nearly made it out of the relegation zone. But I thought, oh, that's okay. They'll bounce back, and I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe Wayne Rooney was still in charge at this point. I might be wrong on that respect, but if he had been, then I would have I think that's probably why I predicted them top. They've finished 7th, losing out in playoff places on the final day. They lost on the final day, and Peterborough won, and they've taken that spot. And we'll get to them as we continue. But with Derby County, I thought, oh, they're going to go win the league. They're going to go sweep the league, and it should be an easy run for them. They held on to most of their players despite the debt, but it's been a difficult season all around. I think they've paid the debt off now, or at least they're getting that way. And it's just a matter of finding the right components to rebuild next year. And there's definitely a playoff, possibly an automatic promotion push on there next year. But I was wrong. The league leaders, I thought were going to be Derby. They finished 7th. They didn't even get in top 6, which is kind of an L. It's quite a big, stinky L, to be honest. But on the final day, they slipped out of playoffs. So I could have nearly got the fact that they were going to be promoted had they not bottled it. And obviously, had they not bottled playoffs, should they have made it in. But it's an L from me there. I'll cop that one. Exeter is another team that I thought would be in a relegation battle. And I've put them as such, haven't I? I put them... Exeter fans, I apologise. Cover your ears. I thought that Exeter were going to get relegated, and I thought they were going to get relegated second from bottom. I thought that it wasn't going to be it for them this year. I thought they were going to go straight back down as well, but they have proven me wrong. I think they've strengthened quite well, if memory serves me correct, and it's worked out for them. And they've got a nice little cushy mid-table spot, nowhere near relegation. A good season for Exeter to stay up and stay up comfortably and possibly build on it next year. But I was absolutely wrong on that one, and I look like a bit of an idiot, to be honest, with that one. 23rd, I put them as. They finished 14th, so it's a 9-place gap, and that's a firm L for me to take again, which you'll be seeing a lot in this particular video, but also in the coming ones as well. How many will I actually get out of 92? Guess is as good as mine. Up next, oh jeez, okay, can we cut the cameras? Cut the cameras. I put Fleetwood bottom. I'm just going to be straight up. I put Fleetwood bottom. I thought they were going to go back down to League 2 after many a season in League 1 because of the fact that they were so close. I think they were like a goal or two off going down last year. But this year, they seem to have rallied, rebuilt, and strengthened. And like I said, I don't know how much they've done strengthening-wise, how much they've made the team better, because I don't pay a lot of attention, but I will be paying a lot of attention this summer. I'll make sure of it. It's a bit more educated predictions, because my God, this one stank. 24th place, I put Fleetwood Town. They finished in 13th. That's an 11 fucking place gap. I thought, because they struggled last year, they're going to struggle even more this year and go down. They've gone the opposite way. They've got up to 13th and got a nice little mid-table spot. And I feel bad for the Fleetwood fans. It's common L's for me from League One, which is what I expected, to be honest, but not by this distance. So fair play, Fleetwood. They'll get another season in League One, and I will not predict them to go down because they might get better. Forest Green. Now, I want to defend myself a little bit here, and I will defend myself a little bit here. I believe I predicted this before Rob Edwards left, because he was the manager, of course, that brought Forest Green up as champions last year. And I thought, okay, if he stayed, well, it was based off of him staying in charge. I didn't really want to change my predictions halfway through the season because it would be as funny then, would it really? But also, I thought that they would survive comfortably with Rob Edwards at the helm. Then, of course, he departed. I can't remember if he departed to Watford. Was it Watford? He departed anyway. And Forest Green, I don't remember who they brought in as a coach, but obviously, evidently, it didn't work out. And they have finished absolutely rock bottom of League One by a bit of a distance. Now, I'll defend myself a little bit by saying I thought it was going to be under the Rob Edwards kind of management, and maybe 14th was a bit of an overstatement or an overachievement, even what I was thinking. But I thought survival, at the very least, would be achievable and doable for Forest Green, but it, in fact, has not been that. And it's been a season that the vegans were very much likely to like to forget. And as they get ready for another season in League 2, they'll probably bounce straight back up, or at least be in the conversation anyway. But it's a bit of a difficult season if you're a Forest Green fan, because not only did you get relegated, 6 wins, 31 losses, only 31 goals scored, 89 conceded, and a whopping 19 points off safety. I think they were relegated, conferred to relegated mid-April, or maybe even at the start of April. So it's been a tough season for Forest Green fans. fingers crossed that they can bounce back and come straight back up. We'll be keeping an eye on that, of course, for the predictions next year. Up next is Ipswich. Now, I can also explain this. It's not bad. It's not actually bad. I put them in playoffs. I put them in 5th. But they've gone up automatically. And I knew it would be their year because I believe at the start of the season as well, I said, if Ipswich don't go up autos, I think they'll win the playoffs. And I put them in 5th. Put them as playoff winners, I think, at that time. Obviously, I'll update that in a video in a few days' time where I think the playoff results will actually be. But, yeah, Ipswich, they've been kind of, what I was thinking was they've been sort of close each time. They've had playoffs a couple of times now, or they've been just outside the playoffs as well. They've just kind of been, you know, going around that area, just kind of flittering around. And I thought, well, then again, it might be another playoff season, but I thought they'd win the playoffs. I knew it would be the year they went up. I'm taking that. I'm taking that fact. I knew it'd be the year they went back up to the Championship. I just didn't think they would do it automatically, and they nearly didn't. To be fair, if it hadn't been for Sheffield Wednesday, they wouldn't have done it automatically. But unfortunately, I was wrong in that one. I will take solace in the fact that I knew they were going to go up, or I thought they were going to go up this year, but I got them in the wrong bracket. I put them in playoffs. They finished 2nd. So fair play to Ipswich. It'd be good to see them in the Championship again, and here's hoping they stay up as well, because Ipswich are a very likeable team. I quite like them. And I do keep an eye on them. One of the teams more out of the League One pyramid that I keep an eye on because I'm just like watching them. I don't need an excuse to. I only lost 4 times this season. The 14 draws have let them down because they could have gone and clinched the title on the final day had results gone their way, but the draws have let them down a bit. 14 draws, but 28 wins, 98 points. Most goals in the league. Only team in the league, maybe in the whole EFL, to break 100 goals. I could be incorrect on that, and we'll come around to see that in the other prediction videos, but or the reaction videos, I guess now. But 101 goals for Ipswich this season, only 35 conceded. A fantastic season, incredible goal difference. It was just some draws that let them down. If they could have turned some of those draws into wins, it might have even been a record-breaking season for Ipswich. So I underestimated them a little bit, but fair play to them. They've gone up automatically, and I hope they succeed at the next level. Lincoln City. Now, this was always one I was kind of toying with, kind of struggling with. I didn't know kind of what sort of season they'd have because I didn't really know much about them, to be honest. But I have got it completely wrong. I thought they were going to finish 19th and be in a little bit of a scrap of relegation. I thought they'd be safe, probably eventually, obviously, because I predicted them to go 19th. But I thought there'd be a bit of a relegation scrap and then kind of just hold on to just above that zone for most of the season. But what I didn't think was that they would go further than the bottom half of the table. They finished 11th. They finished in the top half of the table. 20 draws, while maybe not the greatest amount. Obviously, if you can turn those into wins, you can also have those turn into losses. So taking 40 points off of other teams, that was what it would mean. So 20 draws for Lincoln may look bad, but honestly, it's quite fantastic, to be honest. Say where I predicted them. Maybe I underestimated them, maybe I didn't know enough about them. A goal difference is 0, 47 at each end, and 62 points. They only lost 12 games, to be fair, which is not bad. It's the same amount as what Barnsley lost, and they're in 4th. So it's a cracking season, actually, for Lincoln, to be honest. Maybe I underestimated them. Maybe I should have expected better of them. Maybe the Lincoln fans will put me right if there's any Lincoln fans watching. Maybe they knew their team was going to be a bit more successful than what I thought this year. Because, of course, I've got negative ball knowledge when it comes to League One. So if I am way off the mark, I apologise. But if I'm close to the mark, then I'll take it. And I won't cop a full L. But I will cop a bit of, well, I will cop a full L actually because it's 8 places off. I can't really save this one. But again, my knowledge may be getting, lack of knowledge may be getting the better of me here. Right. This is the one I've been dreading. This is the one I've been waiting for. You're more than welcome to roast me in the comments. I'd roast me in the comments, to be honest. I'd roast me in the Twitch chat. I'd roast me all over the place. Now, I can explain. It's partly, again, because I've got negative ball knowledge in League One. But also, MK Dons, they're a team that have got quite a bit of money, that had quite a good season last season. Did they not make playoffs last season? I believe they did. I'm just going to check for my own mindset. They made playoffs. They came 3rd last season. They were very close. They were a point off getting autos. So I thought, here we go. They'll strengthen their team, and they will get autos this season, and they'll finish 2nd place. I'd like to humbly apologise to anyone with ball knowledge and anyone who's got any intelligence, because I have had an absolute stinker on this one. It might be the biggest L out of these prediction videos. It'll be the biggest place difference, definitely. I think the places difference is nearly as big as what the Premier League table actually is. I put them second. They finished 21st. That's a monumental difference of 19 points. It took them to the final day, but they did get relegated. And I thought, well, even if they get in the relegation battle, they'll stay up, surely. They didn't. They will go back down to League Two. And honestly, the on-pitch performances were not good. From what I saw in highlights, were not good. And they deserve to be relegated, to be honest with you, in my opinion. And it has come to fruition. But it's a stinky L. It's a very stinky L, and I'll take all forms of abuse in the comments on this one, because I have taken a firm L here. Predicting them playoffs might have been a bit more realistic, but I put them in second place. I thought they'd improve and then get their way up to the championship. They've in fact gone the other way. Instead of getting automatically promoted to the championship, they've been demoted to League Two. So if you watch this as an MK Dons fan at the start of the season and you were like, alright, we'll watch this and see if we can get our hopes up. And if I did get your hopes up, which I'm highly doubting, but if I did, if there's the off chance I got an MK Dons fan's hope up, I profusely apologise. There's nothing I can do really now. Hopefully, well, I say hopefully, MK Dons aren't really a club I like, sorry. But I'm not too sorry, really, at the same time. They could, and I think they will, bounce straight back up from League Two. But at the same time, it's a fall from grace after finishing third in a playoff spot and a point off of Autos last year. It's a fall from grace, an absolute fall from grace. And it hopefully won't hurt them too much. Up next, Morecambe. I'd like to think that I was right about this. But I am a place off, but I will take a W on this one. It's probably a W that I will hand myself, but I'm taking it, and you can all cry about it. Because I said Morecambe would get relegated this year. They've been skirting around the League One drain of the relegation zone for far too long, in my opinion, and I thought they were going to get relegated. I didn't guess the right relegation position because I put them 21st. And I think I initially had them 22nd, but I moved them up because there was another team I wanted to put in the relegation zone, which of course now was wrong, because 3 out of the 4 teams I've put in the relegation zone weren't even relegated. But this is one I'll take and one I'm proud of, even though I'm not too proud of celebrating relegation for a club. I knew they were going to go down. Like I said, they've been going around the League One drain for too long. It's just a matter of time before they came back down to League Two, and they have in fact done it. They finished in 22nd. I put them in 21st. I was only a point off as well, and they were only 2 points off survival as well. It came down to the last day for the Shrimps, and unfortunately they will be relegated, but I'm happy I managed to call it, even if it wasn't the exact position. But I said at the start of the season, they probably will go down, and they have gone down, so I'll take that. I'm taking some small dubs here. There's no big dubs yet, no monumental dubs yet, but some small dubs are being taken, and we'll allow it. Now, this is another L. This is an absolute L here. Oxford United. I looked at their form last season, and I thought, okay, they'll drop off a bit. They'll maybe not hit the heights of near playoffs like they did last year, and I think they may drop slightly, ever so slightly, down maybe a place or two. They dropped from 8th to 19th. They got involved in the relegation battle. They weren't safe on the final day, for fuck's sake. I thought that they would be fine. I thought that it would be plain sail. I thought it would be another mid-table season for them. They might drop a little bit in form, but it would be another mid-table season where they hold on quite nicely and have just quite a nice, calm season with no drama, no problems, no promotion, of course, but no relegation. I was right, technically, in that situation. The fact that I was between 7th and 20th, but I mean, it's not really. It's a big gap. It's more than half the league table, so I'm copping an L on this one. Oxford, I predicted them 10th. They finished 19th. It's a 9-place gap, and I thought, yeah, they'll drop off a little bit. They won't get playoffs. They won't get any further up. I think they'll drop down slightly. And I was right, but, well, I was right about them dropping down. They slightly may have been an incorrect situation there, and they have, in fact, dropped quite away, nearly to relegation, but they hold on in League One for another season. So fair play to Oxford that they've held on. I thought it'd be a lot more easy for them, to be honest, and that just shows maybe my lack of ball knowledge or maybe Oxford's lack of form. It could be 50-50, really. Up next, Peterborough. Where did I put that? Oh, okay. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gents. I only just got this but it's dead on. It's an actual correct prediction. Get your fucking cake out, get all your snacks out, have a celebration, because it is exactly spot on for one club, and it came down to the final day to do it. But I got it spot on. I put Peterborough in 6th. I thought they would just scrape into playoffs. I'm pretty sure I said they'll scrape into playoffs. And they've done exactly that. Literally on the final day, they've scraped into playoffs with a win on the final day. Derby County, of course, losing. Mentioned that earlier. And Peterborough will play in the playoffs to see if they can get into the championship once again. And they do seem to be a team that is always high League One, but when they get to the championship, they always seem to falter and fall down again. So if they do get promoted for playoffs, I might predict them to be relegated next year. We'll see. But I'm happy I got that dead on. 6th place for Peterborough on my prediction. 6th place in real life. And best of luck to them in the playoffs. And we will be happy with that prediction because it was dead on. I think it's the only one I got dead on. Don't get me wrong. It might be another one. Plymouth Argyle. Okay, right. I would like to also explain this one. I am wrong, of course. They won the league, so fair play to them. And they got a century of points, so again, fair play to them. Had a fantastic year, had a cracking season, and deserved champions ultimately. But I have taken an L, but I'd like to defend myself with the fact that I thought there'd be another season where they would be around the playoff situation but not make it again, because Plymouth, at the start of the season, in my opinion anyway, didn't seem to be a team that could get the League One title, but as the season went on, I realised, yeah, I bottled this one, I fucked this one up, but maybe, I mean, of course it wasn't an error on my part, I'm 7 places off, so I'll take an L, but like, I don't know, maybe I'm just showing my lack of ball knowledge here, but it is a League One title win for Plymouth Argyle. Fair play to them and all the best of luck to them in the championship. I put them in 8th. I thought they would just fall out of the playoffs on the last day. I thought Peterborough would overtake them to get that final playoff spot. Them and Wickham, and we'll get to Wickham in a moment, of course. But Plymouth Argyle, 7 places off. It was not a great showing from me there particularly. And now another one that was not a great showing from me either. In fact, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought it was going to be worse than I thought. Port Vale. Now, I thought that they were going to be in that relegation battle and on the final day escape. I think that's what I said, if I remember correctly, my words on the first video. But you obviously can go back and watch it in the description to compare and see how much shit I'm talking, really. But I did say Port Vale would just scrape survival. And, I mean, they have scraped survival. It's not really a scrape, though. It's a 4-point gap, so they managed to sort it before the final day, which, fair play to them, they've done well in doing. But Port Vale will remain in League One. I thought it would be maybe a little bit closer than it was, but it still was quite close. So I'm not taking a full L on this one. It's a minor W, I think. It's only 2 places off, and I predict them just above those relegation spots, which is where they finished. So I'm taking that. 18th place, like I said, in real life, and 20th on the predictions. It's not bad. It could be worse. It could be MK Dons. Up next, then, Portsmouth. Now, this was a pain to predict because I knew exactly what was going to happen with Portsmouth again this year. I didn't know whereabouts in the table to go with them. And it's not far off, really, from what I've actually put here. But I knew it would be another of those seasons where they were going to get close and not do it again in terms of getting playoffs and getting promotion to the Championship once again and back to the glory land where they used to be, which, of course, was the Premier League. But I predicted a bit more of a fall for him, I'll be honest. I thought they'd maybe fall a bit further, maybe get a bit further away from playoffs. I think, if memory serves me correct, they finished in the exact same place as last year, which was 8th place. No, they finished 10th last year. They've actually had a bit of an uptick in form. They finished a bit better this year. I haven't checked the points gap, but they finished 2 places better. And I put them in 11th, which I thought maybe it does sound a bit more mid-table-y than contesting for playoffs. But realistically, am I wrong? They were 7 points off playoffs, and it was more mid-table than playoff contenders ultimately. I mean, throughout the season, they were going for it, but they just fell, and unfortunately, 19 draws. 17 wins, yeah, and only 10 losses, but 19 draws, and needed to convert some of them into wins to really get a spot in there, and they could have done had they been able to do that. So I'm taking this as a minor W again, but it is a bit of an L, because I did think they were going to fall, and they've actually improved slightly this season. So I apologise to Portsmouth fans, but I was aware that you weren't going to make playoffs again this year. And again, I apologise for that, because it should be a team that should be working their way back up the pyramid after being all the way down at the bottom of it. And I hope they do next year make playoffs, and I might predict them to be there. We'll see what the business is over the summer, and I will kind of judge it off of that, really. Sheffield Wednesday. Now, this is a difficult one because I've ended up being right. I was a place off in the predictions. I've got Barnsley and Sheffield the wrong way around. I've got Barnsley in 4th and Sheffield Wednesday, or Barnsley in 3rd and Sheffield Wednesday in 4th. They finished the other way around. Sheffield Wednesday 3rd, Barnsley 4th. But it's a story here for Sheffield Wednesday because they should have won the league far away. By and large, should have been League One champions, and they've absolutely bottled it towards the end of the season. I don't know how either, because they were playing so well up until that point. They were clear of Plymouth, clear of Ipswich, clear of all the chasing pack, and they've fallen at the final hurdle. And as they try to catch up again, it's been for naught because it ended up in 3rd, which, I mean, I'm happy to be right about, because it does mean I've got another prediction kind of right. It's only a place off. They're in playoffs, but at the same time, it could have been automatics. It could have been the league title. It should have been the league title for Sheffield Wednesday. And unfortunately, they have fallen and have been unable to get back up into the championship automatically. They will play the playoffs. I believe it's Peterborough is their semi-final. And the winners of that, of course, will face will face Bolton and Barnsley. So we will see what happens with them. I'd like to see them go back up if it's not Bolton, to be honest, because they're a team that, of course, have been in the Premier League and do need to get back up into that situation. Because for a while, I think, they were near the top of the Championship not long ago as well. And then they ended up getting relegated, unfortunately, which means they were down League One. They've now gone back up, or they could go back up. They've given themselves a chance by finishing 3rd, but my God, they should have been back up. It should have been a Championship season up next for Sheffield Wednesday. It still could be, but it shouldn't have had to have been this long way around. It should have been the quick way around. And, of course, after losing the playoff finals last year, they thought they were going to do it this year. And they have unfortunately not done it for them. And I think it might have been the playoff semi-finals rather than the playoff finals. But they did lose in the playoffs last year, Sheffield Wednesday. And it'll take another season, potentially, if they don't win it this year, which will be more pain. Shrewsbury up next. I have maybe underestimated them a little bit. It's not completely awful. It's not absolutely dog shit, this prediction, but it's maybe I've underestimated what they can do. It's a comfortable mid-table spot, which is more or less what I predicted for them, but the positioning, they finished 12th. I predicted them 16th. It's a 4-place gap, which ain't anything to crow about and shout about and celebrate about, really, but at the same time, I'm not too fussed about it because it's a mid-table spot, which I thought they would get, and I thought they would get quite easily. And I've been correct in the fact that they've got the mid-table spot. It was just a matter of the position I got wrong. And I think Shrewsbury, they've got a good bit of mileage in League One. Of course, if they can build, they can make a move for the playoffs of the Championship. But I don't know if it'll be anytime soon. They don't have a lot of money, as it says on FIFA anyway. I'm basing it off of FIFA because I don't know how much money they have now in real life. But yeah, overdid my expectations a little bit, which, to be fair, I didn't really have any for them because I don't really know them too well as a team. But they finished 12th. I predicted them 16th. It's a 4-place gap. I'll take it. It's an L because it's a 4-place gap, but I knew they were going to have a comfortable mid-table season, so I'll take that in some kind of solace. And I believe this is the final team now, if I'm not mistaken. It will be Wycombe Wanderers, which has also been another one where I've got it pretty much on. Again, it's not, of course, exactly on. 2-place gap. I predicted them to finish 7th, and they have in fact finished 9th. I knew it'd be another season near the top. I think they got playoffs last year, didn't they? I believe they were the ones that lost to Sunderland in the final, if memory serves me correct now. And I thought maybe they would have a little bit of a fall off, and they'd just maybe not quite make playoffs because of the fact of the disappointment the previous year, of course, not making it. And I was right, but the placements again are off. So it's a 7th place finish I predicted for them, and a 9th place finish that they in fact finished. So I knew it was going to be a little bit of a drop off, but yeah, it's unfortunate for them after last year's playoff defeat that they couldn't get back in and try and get automatics or even try and get another playoff spot to go for it all over again. But ultimately, that's the way football goes, and that will be it for me reacting to my League One predictions from the start of the season. I will link, of course, the video of the start of the season predictions in the description, because there'll be a lot of things said in there that have not come to fruition from 9 months ago, and it'll look absolutely awful. But that's the fun of the game, isn't it? Really, I got one dead on, which I'll absolutely take in a league that I don't know much about, and there was a couple that I got 1 or 2 places off. I got quite a few 1 or 2 places off. The only real stinker, well, there was a couple of stinkers, were about maybe 8 or 9 places because I thought they wouldn't do too well and they did better, or I thought they'd do well and they did worse. I'm looking at you, Oxford and fucking Exeter. But ultimately, the only real stinker was the MK Dons prediction, and putting them in autos was very bold, but I went for it, and it has absolutely backfired on me. I think if I'd put him anywhere, I wonder if anyone else who has done League One predictions has kind of maybe not put him in autos, but put him in the top half at the very least. I'll be looking at other people's reactions to see what they've done with their predictions, and I'll see if they're as stinky as mine. They probably won't be. They probably have more ball knowledge. They might support a team in the third flight, so it might help them a bit more. But I don't, so I'm kind of just an outsider looking in on this league. And it's not turned out 100% fantastic, but it's not been completely shit either. I will take my score of 1 out of 24, and we'll move on. I think it'll be the League 2 predictions next, because I do want to get into them for a very good reason, which you will see on Thursday. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and I will see you tomorrow for some more Hartlepool United career mode. If you want to leave your predictions, or what you predicted, I guess, in the League 1 season, and you want to maybe say what you thought in the comments, and if you were off worse than me, or if you did better than me, fair play to you as well. You're more than welcome to voice off in the comments, and you can call me an idiot for the MK Dons thing. I'll absolutely take all the slander on the MK Dons front. If it's 1 or 2 places off, then I will maybe argue my corner a little bit. But if it's the MK Dons stuff, you're more than welcome to just go at me. But I hope you guys have enjoyed, and peace. I'll see you soon.